Hey, I'm Saving Content Zone Ed Acosta, and welcome to dotEXE, a Saving Content podcast. It's episode 11, and joining me once again is the brother who's known for his own mouthful mode, Eric Acosta.
Hey, that's me. I eat a lot of food. That's why I have a mouthful mode.
Haha, I eat a lot of food too, or I used to.
Well, that's a good point. I used to also. I don't have the body for that anymore. The small Asian eating all the hot dog training has gone away.
Right. All that food competition training.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is it is a training. I mean, you have to train your stomach to eat all that and fit all that.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of crazy when you think about some of the tiny people who can pack away all those hot dogs.
Right. I mean, I'll sit and I'm eating a hot dog, and every once in a while I'll think about it and go, I'm eating 3 hot dogs.
Uh-huh.
There are people out here that are 50, 60 hot dogs.
And they're soaking their buns in water. And
okay, yeah,
those.
That's a bridge too far. Bridge too far.
Flavored something, maybe?
Can I dip mine in rum?
Yeah. How about vinegar?
Vinegar?
Something.
Good.
Pickle juice.
Oh,
pickle juice.
Like a malt vinegar. There you go. Pickle juice. Okay. Do a malt vinegar, like the malt vinegar that goes on fries.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be pretty good. Like a boardwalk fry.
Yeah.
Ooh, what do you do that with? The potato buns?
Mmm.
That would be tasty.
Now you got me something.
Sounds like I'm going to be needing to make some hot dogs and get potato buns. And
I still need to go to Costco and get those big Costco hot dogs. I keep telling myself, I'm going to go there next time I get gas and go get me some of them big hot dogs. Always forget.
Yep. That's there was this taco bar, restaurant, whatever, where we used to live in Hagerstown, somewhere up there. Is it Hagerstown? I don't know. Where we used to live. And we would always say, oh, we should go, me and Des would go, we should go there, one day. Yeah. But every time we'd drive right by it. And then as we're driving by, oh, we should stop there. Oh, we should stop there.
Yeah, I'm going to do it eventually. I'm going to remember. And I'll probably pick up some of the $5 chicken while I'm there.
Yeah, $5 chicken.
Break it up, freeze it. Good to go.
Nom, 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 nom. That's the
So
way
other
to do it.
than some delicious food, have you been up to anything of note this week?
I'm never up to anything of note. Just the normal stuff of working, then playing video games and being dad and taking kids to dance and whatnot. But I have been, as the past 3-4 weeks have been, almost a month, I've been playing Snowrunner.
It has captured your attention.
It has, because it's fun. And it's one of those I could put a podcast on or some music and just dumbly play.
Just
right?
go.
Just go. But I do have a funny story about Snowrunner last night.
Uh-huh.
So, you know how you do just one more mission, right?
Yeah.
And then it ends up being that mission that is forever.
Right. You just finished something small. It's you know what? I can do one more. Let me just get this one knocked out. And you start it and you realize, oh, this is going to take me an hour.
Right. But then you're already invested in it, so you can't really stop.
Because you don't find out it's going to take you about an hour till you're halfway through. And it's oh.
Yeah. Well, in this case, Snowrunner tells you the steps of everything for your missions.
Mm-hmm.
So I have no one to blame but myself in this, because I was it was late, and I'm I'll just do one more. So I start it. And I mean, theoretically, with Snowrunner, you could actually, stop in the middle of a mission. Because nothing's really keeping you, nothing's keeping you from just pausing and coming back to it later. Because it saves your progress, your spot where your truck is and everything. But I don't like leaving. I like finishing, right?
Understandable. Bring it back home.
Right, bring it back home. Go out, deliver, come back. So I stupidly did this mission. I forget what it was called, but it was 3-part mission. You had to do the first part first, then the second part, then the third part. You couldn't just deliver whatever you wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And it was long logs, and that's a pain in the butt. And I spent all morning trying to get a specific truck, the Cat 742C, I think is what it is, to do long logs. It's that big, not the Cat dump truck, but the one that has like the front cab articulates, so the whole cab moves left and right instead of just the wheels. If you see it, if you see it, you'd know what it is, but it's hard to kind of explain it.
Okay.
But I got that to do the long logs because the long logs are heavy and, get a big thing. Come to find out, after I finally get it, it doesn't do the long logs. It only goes to the medium. I'm like, great. I spent all this time trying to get this thing and I can't use it. So I had to I can't use it. Use it for what I wanted. So I had to revert back to my original logging truck. So that took longer to do it. But I get everything done, right? And I'm driving the truck back to the garage, okay? And I'm like, all right, it's like 2 in the morning or 1 in the morning. I'm like tired and done. And at first I didn't realize what was going on, what happened, until like a 2 beats later.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened was I was driving the truck with the trailer and I hit a tree, like those trees that are laying down that you can winch onto sometimes.
Okay.
And the tree glitched and it exploded, but then threw my truck into the air like 100 feet.
Okay.
And I went flipping across the mountain and landed on the top of a mountain. And I'm like, sideways, obviously, right?
My goodness.
So I'm like, all right, the truck stalled. I can't move the truck. This is on the top of a mountain. It's 1 in the morning. I can either detach the trailer and just send my truck home, and that is where the trailer lives, or I can go get my other truck, drive up there, pull the truck over, then drive both trucks back.
Sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, I was like, nope, this is where that trailer lives now. I detached and sent my truck recover to home, and the trailer is now just chilling up there on the top of the mountain.
It is now a landmark for that mountain.
Yep, it's Trailer Mountain.
You have a good story every time you pass that. Your kids will be asking, Grandpa, how did that trailer get up there? Well, let me tell you about today.
Let me tell you how that log in the rear end got up there. That was a long, long night.
It was a dark and stormy night.
I drove 15 miles uphill both ways.
Your grandma was in the kitchen cooking.
She was saying, are you done yet with that silly game? I said no.
No.
But, yeah, so that's Snowrunner. I have been also playing Arceus, and I have been doing the Eric thing, and instead of completing the main story, completing the Pokédexes.
You are doing the right thing in completing stuff before you finish the story. Because, and this is how I feel, if I finish the main story, 9 times out of 10, I'm not coming back to the game. So if I do everything beforehand, then finish the story, or at least do what I want to get out of it, then
it's
finish
all wrapped
the story,
up.
Then I'm good.
Yeah, wrapped up in a little bow. Good to go, and I don't have to touch it again. That's how I've always played my games. Yep.
I do go back and play some games occasionally just to relive the moments or to clean up like trophies, achievements, or unlocks or something. But it's almost rare I go back to a game after I've finished it.
Yeah, see, you stepped a bridge too far for me. I will finish a game, and I will leave. I will leave any trophies or achievements gotten.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even look at the trophy or achievements pages because I just don't. I don't go back to clean those up. I don't do that.
Yeah, so like the most recent example I can think of for mine is I played Spider-Man when it came out and I beat it. Then about 2 years later, I'm like, I really want to play some more. but but I've already beaten it. And I was looking at the trophies and I'm like, man, these aren't that hard. I I can platinum this thing. The only hard one's going to be finishing the game on, the hardest
Oh
difficulty
yeah.
in New Game Plus. I'm like, I'd do it. So I finished it a second time, New Game Plus, got all the unlocks, got all the trophies. So it is a cleared game. I even went and got the DLC and finished all that.
Oh wow. Okay.
So all those trophies done. If it cannot be any more platinum.
I can honestly say I believe the only game I've ever gone back and replayed is Mass Effect, but that's literally
sure.
only because it's the legendary. It was the legendary edition.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I went back and replayed through 1, finished that. I was playing through 2, and then other things came out.
Yeah.
And I got through some of 3. Basically just enough to be like, yeah, okay, I get it. This is what they're
Now I
going
remember.
for, and it's exactly what I remembered. Then Halo, obviously, go back and doing like co-op. Now that's where it's a little different, I think. If a game has co-op and you go back and play it with like family or friends,
Yeah.
those are always good to revisit.
That's because it's not me. It's not me investing my time in the story. It's me investing time into the people I'm playing with.
Yeah, you're just
Yeah, so-
enjoying playing a game, with somebody.
Right, and that that I've done a few times. Play a game, multiplayer game, again to play with either you or Keegan or Genevieve or Dez or someone.
Right.
Outside
So
of that,
with Arceus, how much did you get completed?
how much? What, the main story
Your
or the
Pokedex?
That's a great question. I think I'm.
Or see, where did you leave off?
68. I think I have 68 that are like I have, done. And then I think I have like 12, 15 that are fully completed right now.
All right. I say that is a good amount, more than I have right now.
Yeah, it's around the 10 to 15 range, fully completed.
I fully plan to get back into it. Especially now that it's kind of a little bit of a lull from now until like maybe early summer. There's like no games of note that I can think of off the top of my head. So hopefully I'll have some time now to go back and, clean up some of these games that I have sitting on the back burner.
Yeah. Same thing. I've got GT that I really got to get set back down into playing, which I did. I started getting them licenses.
All right. All right. How far?
I'm at the, what is it called? The super licenses, the very last set of licenses. I haven't started that yet, but.
Oh, okay. You haven't started it though, but you're
not
there.
Yet, yeah. I'm there. Yeah.
Awesome.
So I got to the point where I looked and was like, oh, it's a whole lap.
Yes.
I'm not entirely sure I want to do that right now. And then my youngest one came over and wanted to use the TV. So I was like, okay, well, I've been bogarting the TV for the past 2 hours. So, yeah.
Right. Let her have a turn.
Yeah. I mean, it's only my TV that I purchased, but, whatever. Right.
But it's her TV, Dad.
Yeah. Well, everything. What is mine is hers, and what is hers is hers.
Right.
But, yeah, I've been. And then I got to get into Horizon. I have the disc. I have not played it.
Now, when you say Horizon, you mean
Zero Dawn, Forbidden West. Yeah. No, I've already
not Forza, yes, Horizon.
Yeah, I have not gotten back into that.
Speaking of Forza Horizon, they have a new update, which I went and did some of. It's basically just a new drift event where they give you the option to acquire the new Mustang Mach-E, but in drift car mode.
Ah.
It's actually really cool because it does something that no other car in the game has done yet. You can switch it from all-wheel drive to rear-wheel drive on the fly.
Oh, like Snowrunner.
So almost, I mean, you just click in, I think it's the left stick or the right stick, and it switches. So you're driving,
Really?
it switches, and now you're in rear wheel drive or you're in all wheel drive. Kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty nifty.
But have you played through Zero Dawn?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I finished that.
I forget where I ended up. I
And I
remember
did
I was
the
in a
DLC too.
cave and I was sneaking on some of the four-legged dinosaur things. I don't remember what else after that.
Were you young Aloy or?
No. This was like in the game.
Oh, was it like a frost cave, like a snowy kind of cave?
No, I don't
No,
remember there
okay.
being any snow.
All right, that's later. That's like, I think that's later because that's when you're finding like a lot of the story stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I have to go back and before I play it, I gotta go back and find a YouTube video or something on the story to remind myself of things.
Refresh yourself.
Yeah, the last time on Horizon.
Previously on Horizon Zero Dawn.
Aloy helps everyone, but is sad about it.
You need help? Okay.
I guess I should. But don't help me. No, I gotta do this alone.
But Aloy, we can all help. No.
No.
I'll do it on my own.
I forget what is in the new game? She's like, they label her something.
Oh, I have not played the new game yet, so I have no idea.
Like people make fun of it or making fun of it now, but it's like they label her something of like some sort of like.
Is she like a messiah or something?
Yeah,
like that?
something like that. And I'm like, okay, that's a little far. And obviously she as Aloy is like, oh, I didn't want to be this. She's like the epitome of like the emo kid.
Sure.
Like I'm doing
emo future past person.
Yes, right? It's like, oh, the world hates me. No, they kind of all like you right now and they want to help you. Oh man, my life's so bad. But yeah.
Yeah.
What about you? What have you been playing? I've actually got something to talk about, more news-wise, but I want to see what games you've been.
Well, I mean, so there's the big one for this week, and that is Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga.
Yeah.
So I've got a review of that up on the website, and just to spoil it for you, I gave it a 5.
5s?
5. It is really good. It is the best Lego game they've had in a long time. It is not more of the same, but at the same time, kind of.
So it feels familiar.
Yeah. So the biggest changes are they've brought the camera in so that it's more over the shoulder, and the stages are in 3D environments. So more along the lines of like the open world Marvel game.
Yeah.
Games. But each of the levels are not, a static path that you follow. If you're familiar with older Lego games, the camera would be set and you just, go on this path and the camera moves with you. These are like little hub worlds. So it's like a bunch of little open worlds connect to this larger open world galaxy. If there's a planet in any of the 9 released mainline movies that they visit, it is in this game.
Oh, wow.
That galaxy map is very full. I guess the best way to compare it is, the galaxy map for Mass Effect?
Yeah, the way that we have the Normandy flying around.
Yeah. Ignore the Normandy part, but that's the galaxy map with more planets.
Oh, wow. But so that's just like a level select, kind of like how they did it in
it's kind of like a level select
or Little Big Planet. I mean, okay.
So I mean, you can highlight which planet you want to go to, drill down into it, and then like the different locations within that planet that you would visit in the game. So you can do it that way, or you can fly from the planet. Now it's it's a little cutscene. Then you load and you're outside in space. It's not like you fly from the planet like No Man's Sky
Oh,
or
right.
something.
Yeah.
But you go from the planet to space. You can do things in space. There's stuff to find in there. There's challenges and things like that.
Ooh.
But if there's a neighboring planet on the galaxy map, you can just fly to the planet.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
So if you wanted to, you could ignore the fast travel altogether and just fly. It's really neat in that regard. But it's also a Lego game. It's built for families.
Right.
You don't always want to do that. You just want to skip to like the story beats or skip to levels and everything, and you can do that. Really good. I'm playing on the Xbox X. Its load times are barely noticeable, except for the initial. The initial load was a little long, but I think that's because it is trying to ping online, and during the review portion, the online wasn't up. Which I don't know why. There's no online features stated, and I couldn't see. There's like no online co-op or anything. So I'm wondering if it's pinging the server for like DLC add-ons and things like that.
That's what I was going to say. Either DLC add-ons or, like we said before, last episode, to validate your copy.
Very possible. But unlike
DRM.
GT, it says, "Oh, can't make connection with the server. Play offline."
Here, keep playing. We'll connect when we can. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can just go and play, and nothing. Yeah. I noticed nothing changed.
That's good. That's the way they should be doing it.
Yeah. So when you start the game, you are given. It's kind of like in this little roulette wheel type of thing. You see all 9 movies, and when you select or you highlight over each movie, a little like Lego animation plays of a scene in the movie. It's kind of neat. Oh. But they give you the option to start any of the 3 trilogies. So if you wanted to start with The Force Awakens, if you wanted to start with A New Hope, or why am I drawing a blank on
Phantom Menace?
The Phantom Menace. Thank you. You can start on any of those. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's where I started. Because I'm going to go timeline, not release window. So the moment you finish that level, it'll open up the next one in that series. So you finish Phantom Menace, then you move on to the next one, and then the next one, and then you can go play like A New Hope, and then go to the next one, and the next one, and another one, and another one. But each of these levels are, it's the same basic gameplay that you're used to in a Lego game. Go in there, break stuff, collect studs,
find the secret,
rinse and repeat.
Whatever you call it. I think what they're always like the secret pieces.
Oh, so in previous games, really it doesn't matter which game you say, it's always like a gold brick.
A gold brick, or there's another one. There's
red bricks. The red bricks are typically the like unlocks for bonuses. Like if you want to do a 2-time stud collection, right, or 4 times, or
what was that thing that looked like it was like a tube and it had like,
those are mini kits. I haven't gotten to those
kits yet.
Okay. So you go in there and you collect everything like normal, break stuff, collect the studs. There are puzzles and missions within each of these hubs that you can go and collect what they call Kyber bricks, which are the game's replacement for the gold bricks.
Oh, okay.
They're gold bricks, but they're just like crystal blue.
Okay. Blue bricks.
It's supposed to
Kyber
be
crystal,
more along the line of Star Wars stuff with like the Kyber crystals, yes.
For the lightsaber thing, yeah.
Right. So you can go and do that and collect all that stuff. There are other things to collect within the game that you can eventually get the, I forget what they're called in here, but basically the red brick stuff. So you can go and find that. And every time you collect enough of the Kyber bricks, you can upgrade your characters now because the game has an upgrade tree.
Ooh, that's a first, right?
Well, It might be. I do not recall any other of the Lego games that I've played with an upgrade tree.
Yeah, and I
But
played with the Super or the Marvel whatever one
yeah,
too.
Marvel superheroes,
The Marvel
and then the
superheroes
second
too.
one.
I don't remember that having an upgrade tree.
Mm-mm, no, like I've played a bunch of the Lego ones. The only one I think I have not played is probably the Force Awakens and the DC villains.
Okay, I haven't played the DC villains. I haven't played the Jurassic Park ones.
Oh, I cleaned house with the Jurassic Park
Oh,
ones.
really?
That Jurassic Park Lego game was really good.
I
And that
mean,
one has an open hub like level too.
right,
But then the moment you get into the actual stages, it's
more of the same.
standard Lego fare, a
Yeah.
static camera and you're moving around. Uh, that's what makes this one so neat is that it is free. Like you can just go do what you want. Um,
Huh.
the 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 actual melee attacks are a little different. And normally you just spam the X button, or this case it's the X because it's on the Xbox,
Yeah, it'd be
but
Square
your
on
attack button.
PlayStation. Yeah.
In this new one, you can actually do some minor combos with it by also pressing it's it's the Y button on the Xbox, triangle on PlayStation,
Yep.
and there's like reversal attacks and things like that. So there is a little bit of strategy now that you can do. I don't remember if you could block in previous Lego titles, but you can
I don't
definitely block in here.
think so.
So that's been very useful for some of the boss encounters is block attacks, get back in there, do things. And the boss encounters are your standard three tier fare.
Hmm.
You take down either power bar once, that's one. Some little cutscene thingy happens and back to full health on the second tier. Do that 3 times, they're dead. But the game has been a blast to play. Uh, Going around collecting everything, just your standard Lego charm is fully intact. The movies, since there are 9 of them, you can tell they're cutting some corners here or there to get to the story
The
point quicker than
right, the
usual.
story beats than normally would have taken. Yeah.
But the main lines are there and stuff that you would recognize.
I mean, with that many movies, yeah, you kind of the game can't be like hours and hours long. It's a kids game at the end of the day.
Right.
Yeah.
And one of the nice things about that, in that regard, is they also include voice acting, and it's not just movie clips, stuff pulled from the movies. They actually got voice actors in to revoice the lines, the iconic lines for these characters in these situations. There are a few who are returning. So I think Billy D. Williams is Lando.
Okay.
And they've pulled some of the voice actors from the animated series that they do to come in and voice their respective characters. So that was pretty neat. It's like, oh, hey, I recognize that voice, or hey, that's pretty darn close to whoever's voice.
That's
Good
cool.
job. But you can tell they're not who they are in the
Yeah.
movies. But it's been a really good game, and I am sitting here thinking about going back and playing more of it.
Hey, that is a good tell for a solid game like that. Is that you
Right.
want to get back into it whenever you're doing something else.
Now, I haven't been able to do co-op because, like I mentioned earlier, there's no online to speak of.
Right.
So co-op is couch co-op only.
Oh, that's cool,
It,
but
yeah.
okay.
But, understandable. It's just kind of a weird, no, not a weird, but a sad mission.
Right. Right.
Well,
It does kind of I don't want to say gatekeep, but it kind of keeps certain like people being able to play if
yeah,
they they're not physically close. Like we're not physically close enough to just go over to each other's house to do that.
right. And that would be a fun game to play. I do know the next time I'm coming to visit, I'm bringing the Xbox, so we'll be able to play some, or the kids will enjoy it. One of the two.
I guess that's a way of them not having to worry about crossplay, right?
Sure. You can't
You can't crossplay if
you
it's
can't
not
complain about crossplay if you don't got online.
Yep.
Well, other than the Lego Star Wars, I've also picked up from GameFly the new Kirby game, and I got in a little bit into that, and that's going to be a lot of fun. I can see I'm going to enjoy that.
Oh yeah, you'll love that.
It's a
Genevieve
nice
and
little
Keegan.
platformer.
Yep.
Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, so you're gonna love it. Genevieve and Keegan and Maris are they're super into it. Keegan's I think he's already or almost beaten it.
Sounds like a Keegan.
Yeah, I think he took a weekend to to do that. So
well, I did hear it's not that long, probably like 8 hours or something like that.
yeah, I think that's what I was hearing. That it wasn't tremendous.
But yeah, so like I said, I'm not too far in it, but I'm enjoying my time with it. It's a nice little Kirby platformer. It is, oh, I guess you could say it's very cute in that regard for like little round poof ball. The little dog creatures are really cool. I kind of want like a stuffed one of those or something.
Plushie. I mean, that's
Right.
what Nintendo's like. What all of their IPs just basically made for plushes.
They are definitely made for merchandising.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's all Pokemon is. It's just plush.
Yes, I mean you gotta collect them all, and by collect them, they mean buy them.
Buy them in every facet. Shoes, plush doll, games.
Right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, the more Cubone stuff they sell, the more I will buy. So
I mean, let's be real here. You got Pikachu, Eevee, and Cubone. I mean, that's a trifecta of like cute.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a trifecta of just give me, take my money now.
Right? Sad though, Marowak turns into something.
Well, I mean, we can get into Pokemon lore and everything, but it's fine. Marowak's fine.
Fine.
Not as good as Cubone.
No. I mean, it helps that the anime had the whole the Cubone voice. It just fits.
Yeah, the voice from the anime and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. It fits. It works. I guess the last thing here that I've played, I'm working on a review of Young Souls, which is a side scroller beat 'em up with some RPG mechanics in it. It is a very slow start where you're going to get your butt handed to you quite a bit until you start, getting some gear. I've gotten quite a bit of gear at this point, different armors, different weaponry, and I can go back to some previous levels and just wipe house with some of the enemies that were just really kicking my butt before, and just going and cleaning up, collecting things, getting more stuff, make my way through. I'm having a good time with it. Like I said, I got a review incoming, so you'll know more eventually. But it's a good side scroller if you like beat 'em ups.
So we played like the 2-player of that, right?
Yeah.
What I didn't know is because it seems like it's very much a 2-character game.
Mhm.
When you play by yourself, are you switching between the two?
Yes.
Okay.
So
So they
both
are both on
characters-
screen.
They are not both on screen except for certain
Oh.
points where it's like, cutscene or something like that. But you hot swap between them.
Ah.
One of the things they do that's really nice is if your character falls, then the other character hops in and you can instantly go and try to recover them. And once they are recovered, they've used up 1 life. So they hop back, they hop out, and now you're the other character. So if you play it right, you technically get 4 lives.
Oh.
Because each character has 2.
Has 2.
Now, there is upgrades later on where you can increase the amount of lives that you do have. But, while you're doing the main game and everything, it's 4 lives if you want to play it that way. So boss battles, as long as you've equipped your characters, properly the way you want to play, you could have both of them play similar, or one be stronger in one category or the other, and just like I said, hot swap between them, and use whoever's the best at the other, and then use the
Right.
other as your healer to bring them back.
You are my mage.
But that it's a good one, and like I said, review coming. Expect a good score.
Yeah, I mean, when we played it, it was okay. I don't know. Definitely wasn't for me. But I also think
Well,
we played it on the, what was it, Steam Link or whatever it's called?
yeah, we were
Or Steam
playing
Share.
the screen share through the Steam through Steam, and you were saying you were having a little bit of lag issue.
Well, and it wasn't like lag. It was like it would work fine. It would be good. And then everything would just freeze and then come up. So, like, when I see lag, I think of lag as in, like, it's stuttering, right? And everything's just it's always kind of like behind.
Mm-hmm.
So I can usually like account for that with lag, because it's like I know that it's going to take this half a beat longer for me to do this, so I can usually account for that. The way that
Right.
this did it, it had to been internet connection or something, because it was not consistent, and it not like, okay, it was going to be a lot to load, because the game doesn't have a whole lot to load, but it wasn't like at a point where things are loading or where a boss battle starts to happen. It would be the most random things, like just walking down the street or standing there. It would do it. So it got difficult to play, and because those beat 'em ups are very much like, you have to be in that same plane to be hitting
Mm-hmm.
somebody, I would like, come forward and then down a little bit, and then expect myself to come down a little more, but it start to lag, and then, or start to freeze, and then when it came back, I'm all the way down at the bottom.
Yeah, and that doesn't make for a good time. And I think that game definitely kind of deserves your attention. Having that sort of a little bit of a lag here and there can make some of those battles kind of annoying.
Oh yeah, certainly. Like, there was plenty of times we were at that one dude, and that was like putting up a shield, and then I go, okay, well, good, and then I put it down and I get hit by whatever it was. So I was like, oh, okay, well, sure, that makes sense, because I wasn't seeing it, but the game was actually producing it.
Mm-hmm. So you had mentioned that there was something that you wanted to talk about that was newsworthy.
Yeah, so this week, PlayStation announced their PlayStation Plus
Tiered service
hologram. Yeah, they're competitor to Game Pass. What
competitors.
everyone keeps calling competitor to
Well,
Game Pass.
Yeah, because it's like the closest thing that one can think of. Yeah.
Right. This is my gripe with that exact. A lot of people in the gaming community are calling it a Game Pass competitor. It's not. It is the PlayStation Plus service, just added. Like, they literally, all they are doing is rolling in PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now to one service, doing what everyone has been complaining about since PlayStation Now came out,
Mm-hmm.
because they didn't like having two separate programs. So they're just doing what everyone has been wanting them to do for a while, and rolling it into one service. It's not a competitor to Game Pass. It's not meant to be a competitor to Game Pass. Sony's not going to make a competitor to Game Pass, because they're not going to give away their free. They're not going to give away their single player games for free.
Well, that's because Sony's also very much that type of. It's very much that type of company who sees their product as this prestige sort of experience.
I mean,
So-
Sony thinks
Yeah.
all of their products are prestige. It's not just PlayStation. Like, their cameras are the upper echelon. Their TVs were the upper echelon. Like,
Oh yeah,
they always felt themselves to be higher, and rightfully so. They were better than most, and sometimes had really good stuff, like their cameras.
it
Ace Alpha
depends
series.
on it depends on the market that they're in. Sometimes it is just overpriced. Like their TVs, good TVs, but you're paying way too much for something that you can get from somewhere else. You're paying
You're
for a
literally
name.
paying for Sony. Yeah, you're paying for that name. So, like, that's the thing about PlayStation Plus. I get it. But you're not gonna see first party games on their new release games for free. One, the main reason is because their first party games very few, if any. I can't think of any off the top of my head that actually have like a storefront to purchase, right? Anything in like Halo Infinite. Yes, that was a free game on Game Pass. But I guarantee you this thought process in there, with all the heads making the money decisions, they go, let's get it out because the game purchase is not what's going to make us the money. The in-game purchases is what's going to make us the money. So we're not going to really make a whole lot of money off of, they'll make money, but they wouldn't be making a whole lot of money off of the game itself. It's all of the game purchases after the game has been bought. So yeah, putting it on Game Pass for free, it probably hurt them a little bit, but they've probably already made up whatever they lost because of all the in-game microtransactions.
Well, I guess you also have to factor in the reoccurring subscription costs too.
That too.
Because, it's $15 for, let's say you go Ultimate, it's $15. And, if you were just, let's say you bought it just for Halo, after a couple months, it's paid for itself.
Right. So that's it. PlayStation Plus is not going to match Game Pass. You've got two very different outlooks on services from two different companies.
Oh,
and
yeah. Well,
Sony's not going to be pressured into anything. That's just Sony.
No, but people are let down by it because the industry, I guess you could say standard at this point for how this stuff would go is leaning on Game Pass and how that's functioning. It is grabbing content from multiple sources, including your first party sources, and charging $15 a month.
Right.
Those are the key points. And if you're not meeting one of those, then you're going to have people who are disappointed and say that, well, this service is not better than this service.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and whether or not that's good or bad is still here to be seen. Or I don't want to say good or bad. Whether or not that model of subscription service for games is a boon or a detriment is still yet to be seen. I think it depends on how that landscape is going to flatten itself out. But
if you look at it on the Microsoft side, one of the key things people have Game Pass for are those day one releases. And even now, there are some like indie developers or some like third parties who are doing day one on Game Pass also. Mm-hmm. So I don't remember where I heard it from, but one of the things that stuck with me was the difference between the two was on Game Pass because of getting all that day one stuff. You feel like you're getting one over on the company. You're paying this much, but you're getting this much more. Whereas on the Sony side, you're paying this much, but you're getting
what's expected.
Yeah, you're getting old stuff. So I think when you're looking at it
the
from
old stuff,
a
library.
So if that's something that is what you're looking for, if you want to be able to go back and play PS1 or PS2 games, if you want to be able to stream PlayStation 3 games because they don't know how to emulate their own console, or even have access to like a curated PS4, PS5 library, that's a good deal. But if you're not one to go back and constantly play old games, I can see them just being like, no thanks.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Because what does it have to offer?
I'm getting the base tier, which is what the two or more free games and multiplayer, right? Because I've had PlayStation Now I bought the year subscription to play. What is it called again? I don't remember what those games were now. The War, Death.
Oh,
Darksiders. Yes, I got it to play those. And I went ahead and just bought it for the year. But after I played those, I realized I beat them, played them, and then I went, "There's nothing else on here that I want to play."
Mm-hmm.
And I would go in, at least once a month and go, "Oh, what's new?" And I look at it and go, "Yep, none of that. I skipped it for a reason."
Yeah. Well, depending on when your 1 year is up, you'll automatically get rolled into, I believe, premium.
Yeah,
because you have it.
I'll have to look. Um, I've got to look at what the subscription I have is, because definitely it's once it's up, I'm I'm going back. I'm gonna go to their base tier because I just don't use it. It
Yeah.
literally is a waste.
Yeah. Whereas if you look on the flip side of the coin on the Microsoft side, they just announced or there's rumored to be a Game Pass family plan coming in the summer.
Which I'm super excited
So
about.
yeah, so it's like, okay, well, now you can share Game Pass with your family. Obviously, you're gonna have to pay a little more for it, but
I would love
it's two different companies with their two different methodologies. Kind of
right.
like how Gran Turismo and Forza are totally different.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're hitting the same market, but doing it in a different way, so that way the market isn't splitting it's not as it's not divisive as much because
Sure.
people will or it's like, oh well, this one's doing it this way and this one's doing it this way, and I'm okay with both ways, or you
Hmm.
dislike both ways or whatever. Um, but yeah, that's like the thing I don't like about Game Pass, and maybe this is just because I haven't looked into it enough. But is there a year subscription, or do you have to pay monthly?
No, you don't have to pay monthly. They When it first came out, there were year cards that you can buy. The most that you can get, I think, now is like 6 months at a time.
See, I hate
But
that.
but there's no discount.
Well, and that's what I hate. Like with Sony's, you could do with the tiers, like you could do. I think it's the same thing, $10 a month.
Mhm.
Or if you buy it for the year, it's still $60 or something like that.
Yes. Well, depending on which one you're looking at and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
I
if
mean,
it's the base one, yeah.
right. Xbox Gold used to do that too. And I think they still do. But um, with Game Pass, it is either just what is it, $10 for the standard Game Pass on an Xbox only, or on just PC only.
Yeah.
Or if you get
$10.
Ultimate, it's like $4 more, 15, and you get access to both libraries. And maybe it is discounted. I think it's like $60 for 3 months, or maybe
See,
it's
that's
70 for 6 months. Something. I don't remember the pricing because I pay monthly.
that's what kills me because I'm doing the math, and I had to get Game Pass for me. I have to. I got to pick Game Pass for me, and for Keegan to play with us,
Mhm.
which he still hasn't. I got him Game Pass to play a freaking game with us. This huge library of games that Game Pass supposedly has, right?
Yeah.
He can't find a single game that he is willing to play with me and you on Game
Well,
Pass.
because you got to remember, he's got his own tastes and his own likes.
And
just
they're
like-
wrong.
He wants to play certain games, and then when he mentions it to us, we're both like,
Ugh.
it's not our cup of tea. So I get
Yeah.
it.
I mean, I
There
get it.
will be something that comes along.
I get it to a degree. Like, that's one of those things, like, when your mom and dad would say, you've got 800 channels, pick one. Like, that's that same process. You've got 800 games, pick one. There's bound to be something on here that you want to
Right.
play. But yeah, that was my gripe of, PlayStation Plus is not Game Pass, and Game Pass is not PlayStation Plus. They are
Mhm.
not the same, and they're not going to be. They're a service, a subscription base, and to me, I think we're heading down a slippery slope of Adobe, of like everything being subscription based. But
I mean,
hopefully that ecosystem, hopefully it doesn't go farther than what it is now. That like tries to lock you into an ecosystem.
that is going to be for a while now. That is going to be the way most companies are going to take it because they see that's where they make their money.
Right.
There are even apps that you would normally buy on your phone,
Yes.
like $5 normally, but now they charge you $5 a year
Mhm.
to be able to use the app. So it is going to go that way until another more
Lucrative.
lucrative money making venture method pops up.
Well, that's what they were hoping for NFTs. I'm thinking, and it didn't go the way that they wanted it to, or isn't
It
currently
didn't.
going.
It is kind of like quietly going away, but it's one of those quietlies that are like there's still something here, and all it's going to take is the right or wrong person
Verbiage.
to,
Fund
to
it,
support
talk
it.
about it, support it, right?
Yeah.
Or the verbiage that they're coming out. What way can we talk about it where it doesn't sound so bad?
Right. Well, speaking of Sony and how Sony does TV, to wrap it a little back around, we mentioned last week we were going to talk about the Halo TV series.
Yes, this thing.
So, watching the first episode, let's just start with the first episode and say it was a good first episode for a series.
So before we go any further, do we say like we're in spoiler country?
Ooh,
Like,
do
we talk about spoilers?
You know what? Yeah. If you don't want to hear spoilers, just
Don't
skip
listen.
because
the rest of the show is going to be possible spoilers.
Yeah, it's going to be possible spoilers. The topic for today's show is going to be best video game adaptations in media. We may get to it, we may not. We're already kind of close on time, so we might talk just a little bit about it and just kind of give our list of the bests. If you want to hear that, then just kind of skip, I don't know, 10, 20 minutes. We'll see. I'll see if I can put a time code in the description or something.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But Halo. So, like I said, the first episode is it's a good episode for a TV series that's not Halo.
Yeah, so it's a good episode for, and I think I told you this before. It's a good way to bring people in that know nothing about Halo. But it's not necessarily a good episode for people that like Halo.
Right. It's like, okay, well, here's Master Chief. You know Master Chief, right? Oh, you don't? Well, this is what Master Chief is. Oh, you do know who Master Chief is? This isn't your Master Chief.
This isn't yours, yeah. This is a different Master Chief. But come along with us still.
Yeah. I gave them a benefit of a doubt to try. And like I said, it's the episode is okay. They have no restraint. So like first, when you get into the first battle scene in that show, they right away when Chief shows up, first person in the helmet with the HUD.
That was weird.
It's like you don't want to even save that for later, or just save it for like these one-off little tiny things. Oh no! They go back to that like 3 or 4 times during that fight.
Uh-huh. You know what confused me about that? It reminded me. I don't know if you remember the movie, but the Doom movie with The Rock.
Yep.
It reminded me of exactly of that.
Example.
It's like it was just really cheesy.
Yeah, and they waited to the end for that one. At the end of the movie.
That's a good point. They did, didn't they? I think they knew what that was.
Yeah. So, like I said, they no restraint. They tried to build up this human character to be your transplant for human emotions.
Oh, yeah.
As most Hollywood tends to do, because they don't know or understand how to write characters that can't physically show an emotion because they have a mask on or they have a shield on their face. Transformers. They always have to bring facial features into it because, again, they just don't understand. And there are just a few who are not willing to even try.
Yeah.
So later on in the episode, Master Chief takes off his helmet. First episode, you see who he is.
I was like, "Oh, really? We're going this quick? Okay, I guess."
So there's all of that. His attitude, I feel it's kind of game-like, but also he's like so gung-ho for the UNSC. It's one of those Hollywood tropes of like, I am all for the war effort of whatever I'm doing. Oh no, I've learned something, and now I have a change of heart.
It's such a quick dive the other way.
Yeah.
that the games did not do. Like what got me with this first episode was he's not robotic enough, in my opinion. He still was too human. Like in the games, I didn't feel like this character that I was playing was a human. I felt he was brainwashed. He was not brainwashed. Yeah, he was brainwashed, but he was very, the mission and only the mission. In the series, it was the mission and typically the mission. Like I didn't feel like that was I didn't feel like he was robotic enough. But then again,
Right.
in the series, in the game, the mission also always had some underlined mission was saving humanity. So
Now, I think I can defend the show a little bit in that regard because in the game you already have Cortana.
that's a good point. That's a
So
good
you
point.
do have the human. It starts with an A. I'm drawing a blank.
Avatar?
Not allegory. Sure, well, say Avatar. That's a good one. You have a human avatar there to represent you.
That's a valid point. And I didn't really think about that. That makes sense.
There's no Cortana in the first 2 episodes. So spoilers, there's no Cortana in the first 2 episodes. Oh, actually,
I was going to say,
there is kind of a Cortana in the second episode, but I'm sure that is. I'm thinking the 3rd episode's where she's going to show up, either that or the 4th.
That's a whole nother issue I have with this series.
Okay.
So
I could not remember for the life of me how Cortana was created. I had always thought it was just a digital representation of Halsey.
So from what I read in the books, and I did read the some of the books, they go into like explaining it a little more. It wasn't just her physical representation. Cortana was built off of Halsey's brain pattern.
Yeah. So that's what I had thought.
Yeah, it wasn't just it wasn't just a digital representation of her likeness, it was also of her. So
yeah.
But it was also just a beginning piece of her, right? So it was like of her understanding, her knowledge, and part of her emotions. But as Cortana got older, she still learned. So she learned differently than Halsey because Halsey was in a physical world, right?
Right. But what I'm trying to get to here is that stuff. I'm sure they're gonna go with that in the show too. What I'm getting to though is that that's not the Halo lore. Well, part of it is, but so I went back and did a little research on how Cortana came to be because I wasn't in the show. It seems like they're making Cortana a clone of Halsey,
right?
And then they're going to take her brain patterns from the clone and use that to create the AI,
right? Which is not
that is how they do it. That is how they do it in Halo. Do you believe that?
In the books? No.
In the official canon for Halo.
That's not what I remember reading. I remember
Halsey had cloned herself multiple times and used the brain patterns from those clones to create the Cortana AI.
I might have to go back and read some of these books.
Right?
I don't remember that. I always understood it that she didn't make clones. She created the AI structure off of her brainwaves, not off of a clone. Like there was no Halsey clones. Like
that's what I thought too.
She didn't. What was that magician movie?
With Wolverine.
Yeah, it was Hugh Jackman. Yeah, I can't remember not the Majestic. Crap, Prestige. I can't remember. Prestige. That's it. I know it was a single word, but he didn't. He wasn't freaking Christian.
Oh, by the way, we're spoiling Prestige, I guess.
Okay, well that's a little old. I think honestly, after a year, if you haven't.
I mean, true. That movie has been out for many years at this point.
Right.
It's cloning.
There are children that are older than that movie. But yeah, I don't.
I think you meant that the other way around. There's children younger than that movie.
Sorry.
That would be implying the movie's older.
Yeah, I apologize. The other way. So there are kids that have no idea that movie ever existed. Yeah. I said that backwards.
But yeah,
I mean, that's
so
true. There are children older than that movie, i.e. me, but you know.
Yeah. But yeah, I had to go back and be like, no, that's not right. Why are they doing it this way? This is a dumb way. No, that's how they did it in Halo, apparently.
I don't.
So yeah, it doesn't sound right.
Is it? Well, so I know that there was a book series that was, or maybe it was a comic book or a graphic novel that was Halo, but not in the same universe. It was a different Halo universe.
I'm not familiar with that one. The stuff that I researched were based off of the mainline books and what
canon,
was in the game.
I mean, maybe I just misunderstood it.
But so I don't know how I feel about this series. Like, I don't think it's for me, and I think I'm gonna continue watching it just to see where this goes. But
yeah, I can say
it'll be like a hate watch.
I was going to say, yeah, exactly. I'll continue to watch it, but I'm not going. I don't believe I'm going to enjoy it. Right, yeah. But I want to see. Because it's got good production value. That's what kills me. It's good production value.
Yeah.
It looks very nice. It's a very good story.
Now, granted, there's only been like 2, well, I guess with the second episode, 3 different locations. Dirt, sterile, like, armory, and rough
Omega.
outpost.
Which, that... what was it called? Not Madrigal. The place
Madrigal would be.
The Madrigal was the world. The place that Master Chief takes Quan to. I forget what it is, but it reminded me of Omega.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Like the moment they landed there and everything, it's like, oh, hey, this is Omega.
Hey, it's Omega. Yep. And I'm like, okay, so this, it was, and I hope it changes. Because it just kind of, I guess, furthers the stereotype of, Space Marine who shoots up and kills everyone. Mm-hmm. Because the first episode is the world of red dust planet, Madrigal, Mars, right?
Well, it's mostly sand, not even red dust.
But still, yeah, sand, red dust, whatever. But it's that same dune, sand dune look is where, you first start off in Mass Effect, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you go to a shuttle, a spaceship, because you're leaving Mass Effect, same plot point, and then you go to Omega.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh wow, are we just following Mass Effect plot points? Because Halo wasn't. And I get what they're trying to do. I guess is show a beginning to Master Chief without showing like him as a child initially and doing like the whole origin story kind of thing that they do with like Batman and Spider-Man all the time. But
they didn't need to.
They didn't need to. Exactly, that's the thing.
The first game opens up with you popping out of a cryo chamber.
Exactly. I wanted to see that. I wanted to see them do the whole look up, look down, look like I wanted to see that.
A great Easter egg.
Yep. Instead, they added Commander Shepard.
Yeah, that was. That was still kind of a neat Easter egg.
It was funny, but
very, very missable.
Yeah. And the only reason I caught it, and I think you said the same thing, is because I had subtitles on. I was like,
yeah.
Oh, they said Commander Shepard. What?
Yeah, I had heard from somebody that there's a Mass Effect Easter egg if you have the subtitles on, and put them on, and hey, yeah, there you go. But yeah, so like great production values. I think the elites are a little too chunky for my taste, but
yeah, the Sangheili don't look at. So whenever in the game I always hear Sangheili, I think of spaghetti.
Yeah,
they're like lanky, and so when I saw them there, I was like, oh, you look kind of like a fit boy. Yeah, you look almost like a non-furry brute.
A shaved brute.
A brute with mange.
Right. So yeah, it could be a lot better, and I don't know. Maybe in season 2 they they fix stuff or they go back to the drawing board and wipe whatever the silver timeline is. Who knows? But it's
I
really strange to me that they decided to go ahead and greenlight a second season when the first one barely even came out.
Yeah, and I mean that happened to The Witcher, right? But see, The Witcher also came out with like it wasn't as divisive or split as this seems to be, right?
Sure.
That Witcher series came out and it was basically to like just about everyone's loving or liking. I'm hearing, and the internet talks a very divisive. It's good. It's not good. With this Halo series. But the biggest kill for me is they have to make the big bad a human?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, again, that is definitely them trying to humanize the enemy. So instead of just leaving it as aliens, they have to bring in this young girl. Like, I'm gonna assume she was kidnapped from a planet that the Covenant
glassed,
blasted.
Yeah.
Or she stowed away and, quote unquote, they saved her.
Well, and like you can tell that the whole purpose for them saving her is because in this world, in this universe, not every human has the Forerunner blood in them to be able to activate. Like in the games, if you were human, you had that blood in you, and you could theoretically activate Forerunner technology. It just depends on how in tune you are with it.
Right. No, this one is just some magical, like, oh, you were born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline,
Right. Yeah. It's obviously they're saying, hey, these are what are they called? Blessed ones or blessed ones? These
Sure,
are not.
We'll go with that.
I think it's called blessed ones. They're not. Not every human can do this. This is a special thing, and obviously, Master Chief can do it.
Right.
And I think
he is the one.
Right. I think that's where they're trying to go with it. To this is that make that whole was it Halo 5 or 4? Which one was the whole one about the Forerunners? When you learn Master
4.
Chief was it 4? Okay. Yeah, I think they're trying to go with that and say, yeah, here's a more of a reason as to why Master Chief is the chosen one. The one that is to evolve humanity, because he's not just a human. There's more to him. So I think that's where they're going to probably go, or trying to go with that to make it more special.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just one of those, I dislike the whole, I'm going to go undercover as a human to steal back this artifact. Like, what are we playing, Carmen Sandiego?
Right.
This is such a children's thought process of how you're going to get this artifact back from the UNSC that she was, as far as you can tell is she's been indoctrinated and is living with the Covenant for how long? She's obviously doesn't know the inner workings of how the UNSC works or how the human world works now. So I bet they're gonna plop her in. They're gonna do this weird out of place, big little girl in the big city kind of look world, right? But in a more universal sense about
right.
Species, and then all of a sudden it's just gonna click and she's gonna get it. It's that's not how that would work.
You see where it's going to go.
It's the plot points seem too obvious. I don't know. Like you said, I think I'll be watching it more for the what's gonna happen, but I don't think I'm necessarily gonna enjoy it.
Yeah.
I am, however, so far enjoying Moon Knight. That first episode was awesome.
Oh yeah, that was a really good one. I don't know if we want to. You know what? No.
No, we don't.
Maybe we come back to that next week and talk about just best media for the. I'm trying to put words together.
Instantly trying to think of a title on the fly.
Instantly trying to think of a title on the fly. But either we'll come back next week and talk about the worst adaptations for video game in media, or we'll come back and talk about the best adaptations of just, I don't know, geek culture. I hate using that word, but it's the
I would
best thing I
say
can
more
think of right
like
now.
like for me, it's like that childhood nostalgia of seeing something that you love so much that was very, I don't say minimal, but was not was not predominantly loved by everyone, becoming
Mhm.
mainstream. So that like the
Well,
mainstream adaptation of a novelty.
going with that route, uh, what are some of the video game properties that have made it into other forms of media, movies, TV shows, comic books, that you have found did a good job?
Uh, when it comes to like video games to movies, there's not a lot, and
Ye-
the only ones that
I
I
can think of
really
two.
liked, well, see, let's say the only ones I really liked were the ones that did not take themselves seriously. And that was Mortal Kombat because
Oh, I
it
guess
didn't take
so.
itself seriously.
Three. I can think of three then.
Um, Off the top of my head, I can't think of any more aside from the two Mortal Kombat movies. I can't say anything about the third one that came out because the newest one because I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I
But
haven't seen that one either, but I've heard mixed.
yeah, see, me too. But I can't think of any that I truly like that I liked.
Oh, well,
That was
so
a good adaptation.
the two that I was thinking of before you mentioned Mortal Kombat, the original Mortal Kombat, was the Sonic movie
Okay,
and Detective Pikachu.
okay. But see, with the Sonic one, I get I just completely forgot about that one because I'm super. I mean, I love that one. I'm stoked for the second one. Um,
Yeah.
but I can't say too much to the Detective Pikachu because I never played that game.
So I didn't either, but it is it doesn't follow the game to a T or anything like that. It is taking the premise of
Right.
Detective Pikachu and, making a movie out of it.
Yeah.
But what they do correctly is the lore is pretty darn close to what it is in the games. And the character models are
Yes.
to a T, like spot on.
Now, granted, they also cheated by getting Ryan Reynolds in. That was it. They cheated.
Very much so. So yeah, so like those are the two that I'm thinking of. And then like you said, Mortal Kombat, you know, that's a pretty darn good one as well.
Well, and
But
like I
for the
said, it's
campiness.
because it didn't take itself seriously. It was they knew what they were. I feel that they knew what they were trying to do, what they were going for. And it wasn't. We're not taking this game seriously, right?
Hmm.
So I think that's why it worked. But that's like movie adaptations, right? There have been plenty of book adaptations, and the ones
Oh,
that I love are the ones that are like exactly what happened in the game, like the Assassin's
yeah.
Creed ones. Before some of the newer writer did it, like I remember reading one of the books, and it was there were lines from the game in the book, and I literally you could ask Dez. I looked at it, read it, and I looked up and went, oh, "They said that in the game." Like that was Altair, and Dez looking at me like I don't know what you're talking about. Like I was excited for that, right?
Right. Well,
That was what made it
and
good for me.
and another good one is, the Halo books.
Yes, yeah.
They flesh out the lore and everything, but they stick to what the game's presented.
Yeah.
And those are really good adaptations.
Did you ever read any of the Mass Effect ones?
I did not.
I like those
I
too. Those are very good.
I remember on my car trip from Florida back up to the uh, mid Atlantic,
Hmm.
I listened to one of the Mass Effect books on tape.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I do not remember anything about that book except one specific scene where they're stuck in an elevator or waiting for an elevator to go up, and they're fighting off, I forget which enemy they were fighting at the time, but it was a group of four, and I think one died, maybe. I
Oh,
don't
okay.
remember.
I think it was a group of four. Something died and things happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it's funny. These are like Space Marine, fighting Space Marine games, but like StarCraft. I don't know if you ever read any of the StarCraft books, but I loved those books.
No.
I haven't read all of them, because I'm still trying to find them all. But I did enjoy reading them because it was literally exactly what people are wanting from these video game movie adaptations, where it's I want what the game put out to me, but with more lore.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what those books were. Those books were, this is the time frame that you were playing the game, and oh, by the way, this happened before and this happened after it, but this is that battle that you fought, and it was exactly as the story progressed. And then they just explained more between the battles. Like that was
Right.
that's what made those books I was super invested in, and I like.
So let's take it to a different medium. What about on TV? I can think of a few cartoons that made the transition very well.
I like the Mortal Kombat cartoon.
Oh, I think that was a bad transition.
I mean, I don't know. I liked the Mortal Kombat cartoon. I didn't say it was a good cartoon. I liked it. I thought it was stupid and funny.
It is like they tried to do the movie adaptation of.
They did a movie adaptation of a video game. They didn't go to the source material.
Yeah, and it wasn't even that close too.
No.
I think Sub-Zero was an enemy or something, and then was a good guy, and like it wasn't good. But I remember watching it all the time.
Yeah,
but it wasn't good.
I'm actually sitting there trying to think of
I can
TV series.
Okay.
I can't think of any off the top of my head right now.
Both Sonic AM cartoons.
Okay.
The Saturday morning one was a really good kind of like dark and gritty take. And then you had your weekday morning one, which was very much more along the lines of like, watch this before you go to school.
Yeah, okay, that's the one I remember. Yeah, that's the one where he did the whole chili dog thing, right?
Yeah, well, both of them had chili dogs.
They both had chili dogs?
That is definitely. But the weekday morning one was very much more along those lines.
It was Sonic and Tails, right? Is that what it was called?
Yeah. Well, no, that was Sonic Adventures.
Sonic Adventures, that's what it's called.
And then Sonic the Hedgehog was the Saturday morning one.
Okay.
But they both took the established lore and tried to weave it into something because there's not much in there to begin with Sonic. Yeah. A lot of modern Sonic is based off of lore from the Saturday morning cartoon.
Makes sense. They added substance to that.
Yeah. Also along those lines are the Mario cartoons. Those were really good.
You like those?
Okay, so the original one with Captain Lou Albano as the the live action Mario.
Yeah.
Those cartoons were okay, enjoyable. The Mario 2 cartoons or was it Mario 3 cartoons were pretty good. The Super Mario World one was weird.
I don't remember the 3. I remember the weird world one. But I don't remember the other the middle one you talked about there. I don't remember that one.
Yeah, Mario Brothers 3.
Yeah,
so they had the original with the live action, then they had Mario Brothers 3. And then that one was it's kind of like Super Mario World, but remove Yoshi and like the cavemen.
Okay, I don't know. I think I might. It's like hitting the back of my brain of like, hey, you probably know this.
But yeah, I think those did very well for keeping, what little lore there was in those games and kind of fleshing it out. And, they in turn helped kind of flesh out the lore going forward too.
Yeah, I can't think. Maybe this just shows how much TV I watch because I can't think of any more than those ones. I don't know if there's. Was there a Mega Man one?
There was a Mega Man one. There was actually a couple Mega Man ones. The one that was released in the US or originally in the US was not good. And like Mega Man had no, that was Captain N. Captain N had the Mega Man with the Brooklyn accent.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Really bad.
I remember that. That was horrible.
But no, the Mega Man, actual Mega Man one that they released in the US had Dr. Light sound like he was on something. What was his voice was something like Mega Man. We have to go and save the world.
Oh, that's
It's
great.
but then they had the actual Mega Man cartoon with the one that had the pretty catchy theme song to it.
Yeah.
That was fine. And again, they're working with what little lore
Right.
that they have. And I think
I
that's
guess
kind of where like newer stuff is for these different developers for media. They have to work with pre-established stuff.
right.
And part of the Hollywood the Hollywood train of thought is it needs to be mine.
Yeah. Which sucks because it always destroys. It always destroys what it initially was there. I'm actually looking through a Wikipedia thing just to see if any of these
If anything catches your eye.
catch my eye, and there are a few. Donkey Kong Country. I like that. I like that cartoon. I remember that.
The 3D?
The one with Diddy, not Candy. Is that Candy?
The
The girl monkey.
one I'm thinking about is like the 3D one that ran on like Fox Kids or WB or something, and it was not great.
That was the one with Cranky Kong and Diddy and Donkey, but it didn't have the girl. I thought
I only know
that
of
was
the
just
one.
Donkey Kong Country. Maybe not.
Yeah, I only know of the one animated show, and that's the 3D one.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe that was it. Then there were Carmen Sandiego.
Yeah, I guess that would be game to television. That one was very good.
And then Earthworm Jim.
Oh, right. Earthworm Jim.
I love that show. I mean, that
That
game
was a
itself was
very good
already very
Shoot.
niche, but
I think the show is better than the game.
yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. I think that was really all. Like, I'm looking at a bunch of these. I'm like, oh, Mutant League. Do you remember the Mutant League show?
Mutant League Football.
Mutant League
They called it Mutant League
Mutant
because they
League.
also did some hockey.
Yeah, they did hockey and soccer.
Yeah, that one was actually a really good one. A little dark for its content, but that's what the game is based off.
Yep.
And
yeah. Continue.
good. That was a good adaptation.
Then Viva Pinata. I forgot they had a show.
Right. So
it was like apparently it was on from 2006 to 2009.
it was a good run.
Yeah.
That one. So the intro to the original Viva Pinata game was the intro to that cartoon show.
Yes.
And in the game, there's no talking. The cartoon show was kind of its own universe, if you want to put it that way. It was its own silver timeline.
You're right, actually. That's true. But that was before, like, timelines were before the whole connected universe crap.
I mean, it had to do something because if it's going to focus on the pinatas, they'll have to talk.
Right. They'll have to have exposition.
So, I don't know. I think it's we got
there was
books, we got TV, we got movies, cartoons. Is there comic books? I mean, Sonic had some really good comic books, and that one definitely followed the lore of the Saturday morning cartoon. It wasn't until recently here, I think, that they stopped printing them.
Yeah,
it was running for that long.
Funny that you say that because, like, I think last month is when I heard that. I was like, oh wow, I didn't even know they were still printing these things.
Yeah,
so that's pretty cool. I mean, I don't know. I don't think I read all the comic books I ever read were just the Marvel, right? Superhero stuff,
right?
I don't remember reading any video game adaptations of comic book adaptations of video. So that's more of your world.
Well, I think that's good. We got a good list going there. If somebody wants to write it down and tally it up, sure, go ahead, Ted, do it.
Yeah, go ahead. I don't know. I mean, I guess we could always go back and write it out, and then we could do worst of, which there's plenty of worst.
Oh, there are plenty of examples for worst of.
Yeah, but that's all because people need to put their spin on things.
Yeah, or just do a cash grab.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Uwe Boll? Anybody?
Everything he's ever been a part of? He was part of the Assassin's Creed one, wasn't he?
No. He does a lot of Ubisoft ones, but he did not touch the Assassin's Creed one.
Okay. That one stunk too.
Yes. But we'll get into that next time. Like I said, maybe we'll do that for the next topic.
Yeah, or something like that,
But I want to thank everybody for joining us today. If you haven't yet, go and click on that subscribe button. You'll see it somewhere in your app or your computer screen. Just click on it and enjoy. Did you enjoy our conversation? Let us know. Send us your questions, topics, corrections, anything you want to get in touch with us to dotEXE at savingcontent.com. You can also leave us a message, a comment, whatever, on our Twitter and Facebook pages. Just search at Saving Content. If you are looking for more in-depth gaming discussions, though, check out the Quick Save podcast. And remember, visit savingcontent.com for the latest news and reviews. I forgot to go check and see what we got coming out this week, and I think the website is down right now, so I'm going to have to ask Scott about that. But I do know that I have put out a few things. So I've got Grapple Dog out there. I've got Dynasty Warriors 9 review out there. And then obviously today went out Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga.
Right.
So go get those reads. Tell me I'm a bad writer, whatever. You can leave those in the comments. I don't care. Speaking of comments, leave a comment on our YouTube because Saving Content is on YouTube as well. Our podcasts do get posted up there along with video previews, reviews, trailers, and original content. Finally, leave us a rating and a review. Spotify, you give us a 5-star there. Apple, give us a 5-star there. Make a comment about us. Say that we're awesome. We make your lives better. I don't know. You can do all of that
content.
What?
I don't think we're getting that one.
Maybe people like us. You can do all that right in your podcast apps, by the way. So tell your friends about dotEXE and help us grow, and we would really appreciate it. So I want to thank you for listening, and remember, kindness costs us nothing, but it means everything. Good night.
Good night.